Hello everybody, welcome to the ALTI high-end audio show. Just wanted to start off by saying thank you to Mark and the ALTI team for giving us the opportunity to present today. My name is Matt Windmill, so I work for Analog Devices based out of the UK. Analog Devices, if you don't know us, are a semiconductor company based out of Boston. We also have a European footprint in Limerick in Ireland. The business is around about a $12 billion business for us now, with a wide range of products across a wide range of markets, from aerospace, defense to communications, industrial and healthcare and automotive. And also we have a consumer focus, and I'm part of the consumer team in Europe, heading that up for the European markets. Within consumer, we have a range of markets which I'll talk to you about shortly, but today the focus is very much on our Hearable solutions and the Hearable market. As I mentioned, ADI are spread across a number of markets. In consumer, we also have segments within that, 5 segments in fact. So we have Hearables and Wearables, which I'll talk to you about today. We also focus on personal electronics, so things like tablets, handsets, and so on. We also have unified comms and pro audio within our consumer market, so the cameras that we're being recorded on today, that kind of product. Home theatre and gaming, which is a fast-growing market for us. And also smart home, which can, as we all know, electronics now is moving across our everyday lives, from things such as thermostats to blind control, heating control, and so on. And also, from historically as a semiconductor company, the focus was very much on hardware and what we could deliver. But as the world has evolved and everybody needs complete solutions, so we're now focused not only on having the hardware platform that our customers can use, but a complete suite of software and algorithms, so they can really develop products to take out to the consumers in a fast time. And some of those solutions we talk about are things like advanced codecs and Class D amplifiers. 3D imaging is becoming more and more prevalent now in the market. DSP, things like HDMI connections, and then also the whole software and algorithms that are needed to run those kind of platforms. So it's all about bridging the physical and digital world and paving the way for innovations that change the way we live and work on every day and interact with each other. So today I'm really going to talk about the Hearables market and where ADI play in Hearables. As a lot of you will know, the audio market and the headphone market has exploded. In fact, when people talked about the death of headphones when they removed wires, and actually it's been the polar opposite. The market has exploded. And some headline numbers here: in 2022 there were 553 million units sold in the headphone category, with a market of around $50 billion. So that's a big market and growing fast. In fact, the market only grew about 1% in 2022, but some of that was the impact of the market growing so fast in 21 with COVID and people going out and buying headphones and the way they use them. And interestingly, TWS, the earbud market, is outgrowing the rest of the market, so we see that increasing at around 13%. And we expect small growth in 2023. What is interesting now that we see active noise cancellation, people talk about that as a standard feature, but what's actually really interesting is that only about half the market is ANC headphones. So there's still a huge market for that to grow and expand, and we expect that to reach about 75% in the next few years. Feature development is something that I'll talk about in a bit more depth, and that is that now that ANC is seen as a standard feature, a lot of our customers in the headphone space are looking at what other features they can add, be it spatial audio. We hear a lot about voice assistants that we use every day, making sure that we have clarity when we make calls and we can hear each other. hearing augmentation and enhancement. We're all slightly deaf to a degree, so everybody needs some kind of personalised sound to really enhance that experience. And then also looking at beyond Bluetooth. Bluetooth can be a little bit of a limiting factor for feature enhancement and throughput. So looking at things like Bluetooth Low Energy, ultra wideband, to really then expand the amount of features that people can add. Pricing is an interesting category. We hear a lot about the price pressure on people building headphones. We actually see the opposite in the market. We see that the average price is actually increasing, and some of that we think is where the lower end of the market actually seeds the higher end. So I use an example. My 17-year-old niece first bought a $50 pair of headphones because that's what she could afford. But then once she'd heard, once she'd got that experience of using earbuds, she then wanted something better. So by the time she was 18, she'd bought some AirPod Pros. So we see the lower end of the market seeds the higher end of the market. People get into the market, they experience what headphones bring, listening to music, and then all of a sudden they want something better. So that's where we see the market, the price actually slightly going up. And also outside of headphones for audio use, we also see the market expanding in things like gaming, where spatial audio is important. In games, if you hear an explosion over there, you want to hear it come from over there, not from over here. And then we see office use is increasing a lot, where we're all on Teams calls or Zooms calls, and people want to have a really good audio and vocal experience. And also hearing aids now. It's interesting that we see the FDA in the US recently approved what we call over-the-counter hearing aids to be used. So people can now just go and buy a hearing aid, almost self-tune it, and it's much cheaper and much lower cost. So we see a convergence of a true audio earbud into a hearing device that people can use to improve their hearing experience. Some of the trends I already mentioned as well, and across the hearables and the wearables market, is people are now also looking at using these devices all day. I mentioned my niece before. She wears her earbuds 7-8 hours a day, which is maybe for some of the older generation like me, we don't use them quite so much, but younger people especially seem to be using them longer, and they want increased battery life, they want them to fit, they want them to be comfortable. I mentioned the convergence of audio and hearing aids, so we see that as a market that will explode over the next 4 or 5 years. Health monitoring is another interesting one. Everybody today looks at devices on their wrist for health monitoring, and actually the ear is a very good place to take those measurements. So we're now seeing people starting to integrate health monitoring into earbuds and headphone devices. And also we see smart eyewear now, so people are looking at AR, VR goggles, so that's more on the video side and the augmented reality side, but actually as those kind of products develop, the integration of that with an audio experience is an obvious place where people will move. Some of the key technologies that I mentioned, so from an ADI point of view, we're historically, as I mentioned, a hardware company. So our platform is all built on hardware. So we have the audio side, and we have a very strong heritage in audio, be it in loudspeakers, smart speakers, and now in hearables. So our primary focus historically was always on enabling our customers to have a premium audio processing platform. So high fidelity DSP products that enable active noise cancellation. We also supply Class D amplifiers, but really at that premium end of audio. We want the audio experience is the number one platform, if you like, that everything else is built on. And we also have a platform we call Pure Voice, which I can talk about in a bit more detail, and that's all about enhancing the voice calling experience. And as well as that, I mentioned we also have hearing augmentation and enhancement. So that personalized sound experience where that sound is really customized to somebody, and they can hear clarity and hear music the way it's supposed to sound, but also have the clarity on voice calls. On the other side, and I won't talk about it too much today, but ADI, to make sure we have the complete solution, we also have a suite of power products related to fast charging and also battery management and battery life. As I mentioned, products lasting longer and people being able to use them longer is very important. And also being able to monitor the health of the battery and making sure that the product lasts as it should. User control is another one where we're focused on things like capacitive sensing for volume control, but also proximity detection, so you know when you've taken the product out, it will pause and go back on. So we have those kind of solutions as well. To make sure we address what our customers are looking for, we've done a load of research into what's really important and what we can do to make our customers make better products for their customers. So some of the items that we see, and what I mentioned already, is sound quality is absolutely the tenet of what we do. We're absolutely focused on premium sound, premium audio, and that is really the number one base block, if you like, from what we build on. Number two, we see a lot is longer battery life. I mentioned that already, that people want to use these products longer. They don't want to have to recharge every 2 hours. We want to make sure that the battery is absolutely optimized to get the best performance, the longest battery life, and the most efficient use of that. Size and comfort, we mentioned again, is making sure the product is comfortable to use for a period of time. And assisted hearing, I spoke about that briefly, is making sure that our customers can use these products for a long period of time. We actually see the hearable market, even within a single category, a customer of ours might have use cases, be it from sport to work use case, we're using it at work, to just listening to audio on the way home. So there are all these different use cases where what we're trying to do is enable the customer to have a single platform and then almost tailor the solution based on what their end market is looking for. Spatial audio, you'll see a lot more on, as I mentioned before. That's making sure the audio is coming to you in the right direction and making sure things sound where they're supposed to sound from. And we'll talk about that a bit more. And voice UI, again, is making sure that we have clarity on voice calling, but also voice assistance. There's nothing more frustrating than asking Siri and you have to repeat yourself. So it's making sure that interaction works very well. So on the audio side, I mentioned before, so ADI, we have a complete roadmap and products available now on the audio processing side. And our solution is very much a dedicated audio coprocessor. So by that I mean, typically in a Hearable, a customer will have an SoC to handle things like the Bluetooth and the wireless and the Wi-Fi to make sure everything's connected. And you can do things like ANC in that SoC in software, but then you run into the issues on latency and the like, where you've got one SoC trying to do all of these different functions. So where ADI very much focus is on customers who are looking for premium products and they want a dedicated audio processor, and we have a suite of products that enable us to do that. And then the idea being behind that is to make that processing platform as open as possible, so the customer can then put their own secret sauce and do their own clever stuff in there, but also is beyond the hardware and is for us to enable our third-party partners to have algorithms that are ported to our processor, so the customer can almost have a menu of algorithms for things like noise cancelling if they want to pull a certain providers in, or pure voice and so on. And really the large memory that we talk about here enables that. It enables customers to drop in either their own code or drop in third parties' products to really enable that. So the benchmarking on the side is where we had an independent lab do some benchmarking for us, and where we scored very highly on a number of things here, for things like where ANC is used. So, and there's many teardowns on the web. You'll see in some of the higher premium brands that we see out there, you'll see that ADI, we're widely used across some of the industry-leading ANC performance products. As I mentioned, the products are all available now. We have a full suite of audio processors that are and we're continually developing those to get more and more performance and more things, and then include things like AI engines for instant feedback and so on. Low latency is also very important for wireless audio. As you can imagine, you want to make sure that the audio reaches you in time, and you're not getting any latency issues across from ear to ear. So that's also very important. And then we also have a whole suite of tuning tools available to our customers, so they can drop in an ANC core, and then they can do some tuning in a graphical interface, which makes it very easy and means that you don't have to have a huge amount of coding experience to enable that. As part of looking at how we could help our customers, we actually decided to build some TWS earbuds from scratch, just to have that experience of what our customers go through to then make those products. You know, we appreciate they're very small, they're very difficult to build, so we thought, okay, we'll try it for ourselves and see what it is. So we did that. We're not trying to sell these products, so we're not treading on our customers' toes, but it really enabled us to understand the challenges of building these kind of products and really optimizing the product to provide the consumer with a great experience out of the box. And there's nothing more important than that now. You know, I don't have a lot of patience, so I know when I buy something and I take it out of the box, I want it to work. And it also enabled us to optimize the solutions we have for efficiency, the size I mentioned, and the battery life. And what this enables us to do is we can show our customers now, we can drop in an ANC core and say, here, this is how it works. We can drop in the voice processing core, the hearing assistance, and actually give it to our customers and say, look, this is what we've achieved off the base platform. With your enhancement and your expertise, you can then develop that further and so on. And I won't dwell on this slide, but this was really just to give you an illustration of what we went through to build this product. So this is the block diagram of the earbud itself, and then some of the software that we dropped in, and also the focus that we put on the cradle and the charging to make sure that we had a complete solution, from charging the cradle, charging the earbuds, building the earbuds, and then tuning it for audio performance. So as I mentioned, we have the hardware platform that is ready to go now, but that's not enough for our customers. You know, our customers, they want to be able to have a solution ready to go and fast. The consumer market moves very quickly. In this space, we see customers releasing products every year, so they don't have time to develop everything from scratch. So what we've done, as I mentioned before, is enable the hardware platform with a whole suite of software and algorithms. And right now, so we have ANC that I mentioned, and I'll talk about that briefly in a second. So we give our customers an ANC algorithm out of the box with our partner Austrian Audio, and then our customer can either work to develop that themselves, or they can work with our partner to really enhance that and really optimize that. Occlusion cancellation is around dampening the noise that you hear sometimes when you walk, and you can hear your own feet or you can hear your own breathing. So occlusion is to dampen that noise, to really enable you to wear it all day and get that natural surroundings without, you know. And also when you talk on a call, sometimes your own voice sounds a bit strange, and occlusion cancellation really normalizes your voice when you're talking on that call. So that's and our partner company Elevir, Stefan will be talking about that in a later presentation. Pure voice calling is an algorithm that we enable for our customers on voice calling. So basically what Pure Voice does is if I'm in a busy environment, saying an airport, and I'm talking to one of you guys, you can hear all that background noise and it makes it difficult for you to hear. So Pure Voice effectively strips out and dampens the background noise so you can hear me more clearly. So the benefit is for the person at the other end of the call. And then PSAP, or what we call personal sound amplification, is really linked to the hearing personalization and hearing augmentation that I spoke about before. So it's really making sure that the person has that sound experience where they can hear clearly, or if they're talking in a restaurant or a busy room, that the person they're talking to, they can hear clearly, and the rest of that background noise is dampened. So that's what that is. Some more detail on Pure Voice. So basically how we do that is we eliminate the ambient noise that I spoke about in the past. So as I mentioned, if I was in an airport, it would dampen that noise and really optimize that voice quality. But also it would ensure that the voice still sounds natural, so we're not impacting the performance of what you hear. And that really is enabled on whichever suite of microphones you use, be it bone conduction, or other methods of doing that, or vibration sensing, and that's designed for both over-ear and TWS products. And that's a platform that we have available right now, and I can actually demonstrate over on our booth later on if anybody's interested. Hearing augmentation, as I mentioned, is about personal sound amplification and choosing what you want to hear and making sure that you can hear exactly what you're trying to hear, if you like. So, making sure that you don't miss out anything in noisy environments, making sure that it sounds natural, making sure that the latency is right, so you can see the person's mouth moving and you can hear what they're saying in the right time frame. And it's super low power, so it can run on a TWS platform in the background, and you won't even know it's happening. It's just doing it for you. No problem there at all. Very low latency. Some of the benefits of that, as I mentioned before, it enables you to focus on what you want to hear, be it in a restaurant or a lecture or on the TV. It really elevates that conversation, so you can really hear the person that you're focused on. Can reduce unwanted noise, so traffic noise, restaurants that I mentioned. Restaurants is a good place. My mum actually is going slightly deaf, and she has a stigma about wearing a hearing aid, so she doesn't want to wear a hearing aid with a wire behind her ear. So this is a perfect kind of product for her. It just looks like a TWS earbud, and then when she's out at a restaurant, if I'm talking to her, it will very much enhance my speech and dampen that background noise. So for people in between requiring a hearing aid but having some hearing loss, this is a fantastic product for them. Super low latency, as I mentioned, and also, as it says here, the earbud is now a socially accepted form factor. So for people that aren't worried about wearing a hearing aid, this is a good way. So really, when you look at what we're offering, is the ANC really isolates the environment, and then the transparency helps you hear. I spoke about the ANC solution briefly, but basically what we have is our partner company Austrian Audio, who have years of experience through being at Harman and JBL and those kind of companies, years of experience in ANC and developing that. So rather than ADI try and develop an ANC core from scratch ourselves, we decided to partner with Austrian Audio, who are experts in this field, and we then provide that to our customers under a license. So we can do everything from providing a customer with a standard ANC core to then helping them develop that into a product and tune it and make sure it's working perfectly for their specific product. And how we do that, we have what we call our Hearable Sound Studio. So it's basically a tuning tool that our customers can use to do a full ANC implementation, and graphically. So you don't need to have coding experience, you don't need to have write C code. You can just use that and basically get your product tuned to a very good degree straight away from using this tool. And that's a free tool that we provide and can be downloaded from our website. So the idea is that a lot of SOCs and that standard platform is quite a closed environment. So you find if a customer wants to release a product and have a level of ANC performance, it's great. But if you go down that environment, it's going to sound the same as everybody else who's used that environment. Whereas we prefer to have an open environment where a customer can choose to use our ANC core, they can use their own, they can use a third party, and we make that as open as possible for a customer to use exactly what they need to differentiate from their customers or competitors and give their customers the really premium product. And this really leans into what I was saying there. We can deliver not only a hardware platform, which we think is, and unbiased, but we think is the best in industry, but we also deliver the full software reference platform and the tuning all the way from an app to the device itself. One of the other things we're looking at as well is looking at developing hardware platforms where we partner with some of the SoC providers enable a smaller form factor even again. And if that's something you're interested in, I'd say come by and talk to us on that. But yeah, as I said, the point that I'd really like to reinforce is that ADI, we not only offer a complete hardware platform, but we offer the software that underlines that to really get our customers to time to market as quickly as possible with a top-end premium product. That was it for me. So thank you very much for listening. I would say come by for a live demo. We're in Hall 1, BO2 CO7 with our partners ALTI. So again, I'd like to thank our friends from ALTI for giving us the opportunity to speak. And thank you very much.